Okay, social awareness, again, is really being able to read the emotions of people around you and understanding other people and good old empathy, right? So often people don't understand what empathy is. So what is sympathy, first of all? Okay, I feel for you, I feel sorry for somebody. When is it appropriate to express sympathy?
Never.
Never.
I would say somebody's
Hang on a second, so say more.
it's passive, takes no responsibility for creating connection with another as a fellow human being. Feels phony, it doesn't feel right.
Okay. Well, sometimes if you're overly sympathetic and you go down in the mud with them, that's not helpful, right? Because if you're wanting to throw someone a lifeline and you're in the muck with them, you can't support them, which I think is really the spirit of what you're saying, right? David and then Rich.
Someone has a great personal tragedy like a death in the family.
Okay, yeah.
And then it's not you don't get down the mud, but you don't ask them what
Yes, so it's acknowledging the loss and the pain, yes. And wasn't it sad? I was sad to see Sheryl Sandberg lost her husband. That was such a shock, right? Rich?
I've always thought of sympathy as objectification, which I think is...
Are you a psychologist in hiding? Just teasing.
It
Say more.
Just, I mean, it depersonifies, tends to anyway, whereas empathy means that you might not even have experience with it.
Yes.
But
Yes.
you can at least put yourself in their shoes and understand what it might feel like, or at least
Good.
something along those lines, where sympathy is like, it's just an objective view that doesn't have a lot of connection.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay, that's an interesting comment. So what I'm getting at is the value of empathy. And empathy really is giving someone the right to feel the way they feel, even if you don't agree, right? And being compassionate enough to see where they're coming from. And that requires self-awareness and self-management and social awareness, really. Understanding that, wow, people have different perspectives based on different experiences, different upbringings, different values and beliefs and needs, like we said, and thinking and feeling patterns of behavior, all that sort of thing. And it was interesting in doing some research around this and thinking through what to really highlight. It's also true that organizations can be empathetic or not just individuals. And that was fascinating to me. I was reading about good old Blockbuster. Remember Blockbuster? And actually in the early 2000 timeframe is when Netflix really started to take off. And they asked Blockbuster executives what they thought about it, and they were like, you know. And so they weren't empathetic to their customers, how their customers wanted to experience things. And so, you know, I used to be in marketing many moons ago in my corporate life. I was a marketing director and so forth. And, you know, one of the big things was voice of the customer. How's the customer feeling? How are they experiencing things? Still is. And it was an interesting connect for me to say, oh, that's empathy, right? And we're being empathetic individually and collectively. So that was kind of an aha. Okay, so how do we do this? Well, we read body language. And David, you were saying, obviously that's a lot more important than what you say. And I'm sure we know the Morabian research. Who's going to give me the Morabian research? How much of what you say or how you say it or, you know, your body language is your words alone, people? Yeah, 7%. This is the statistics. 7% is your words, right? 38% is your tone and 55% your body language. And over the phone, it's actually 13% is your words. And then 87% is your tone. Thank you for your patience, the Delta people say. When you're late. Actually, I got home on time last night. I got in at 11 last night. I was so thrilled. There were no thunderstorms. Yeah, I've been on the road a lot. So hopefully I'm making some semblance of sense. But at any rate, you know, in social gatherings, we find out what we have in common. You mentioned, you know, we connect with people. We learn to connect to the different styles. But, you know, we talk about active listening, right? And asking about the other person and taking a genuine interest in the other person. Good old Dale Carnegie, you know, he knew a lot about emotional intelligence. So I want to talk quickly about people reading, and I'll go back to DISC again, because we actually can use this without giving everybody the assessment. And you asked me about this, Jerry. So really, again, it's not for labeling, but for understanding. And there's no good, bad, right, or wrong. Everybody has a strength and limitation, and everybody's a blend anyway. But one of the things you can do is just observe body language. Obviously this is a cue. If people wear watches anymore, we all have everything on our phones anymore. But their tone, as we already said, the choice of words. So that's one cue that you can look at. But what we just did with that map was also a way you can people read. Are they, over here, are they active, fast-paced, assertive, dynamic, and bold? Are they more D&I world? Or do they tend to be more cautious and reflective down here, just as we started? Or, I guess I should have gone this way, but I was aware of the door. But, east is really the accepting and warm, and the west was the questioning and skeptical, right? So if you can see that, then you kind of know where the person falls out. So this slide might have been what I should have put up when we did our thing, right? But you can see where you were. Okay? So it's just helpful to understand. And so the key is flexibility, right? Being able to flex and being able to adapt to the needs of the situation. And really, it helps you in the long term by helping you deal with other people, but it helps you deal with all the change in the world that we have today, right? There's so much change. And what I find in organizations in particular is people are coming onto project teams and coming off of project teams, and you need to get up to speed and get comfortable with people and trust them quickly, right? And so it's really important to be able to do that, and you've got to be flexible to do that, interpersonally flexible, okay? All right, so one way to think about that is also in the profile it talks about how to increase your effectiveness by connecting, by solving problems, and by increasing your effectiveness when things get tense, back to the conflict resolution. So I didn't show you that page, but I just wanted you to be aware of that, because it's another way you can think about it in terms of really connecting from a social awareness perspective, okay? And I often talk about this, and I just wanted to recap about this now, because I've covered a lot of ground, and I just want to come back to what are we really talking about with emotional intelligence, right? So self-awareness is really, I recognize and understand my own emotions, and I know how to work with them, right? And self-management is really noticing when I'm having these reactions, knowing what triggers me so that I can manage my behavior, because I still am going to get triggered. And that's why I thought the voices might be helpful, because we all experience that, but it's what you do with it that's the difference, right? The social awareness is really, okay, how do I relate to others and see how they might be thinking and feeling and help them through what they need to get through. But the relationship management is all those things like inspirational leadership and influence and motivation and a host of other things.